The question I get asked a surprising amount is, should you have a shoe rotation? Should I have more than one pair of shoes for my running training? In this video, I'm going to tell you, yes, you do. It's going to help you massively with your training. Just relying on that one pair of shoes, just not the way to go. It's nice to buy new shoes too, but there are some very good reasons why you should be thinking about increasing the amount of shoes that you use, because you wouldn't use a hammer to open a tin of beans, right? It's the wrong tool. I mean, you could open it, but it's the wrong tool. You want to have the right tools for the job, and the way that shoes are designed these days is that there are certain shoes that you can use for different types of runs, different lengths of runs, and not only is this going to help you to vary things up and, you know, just have some new shoes, it's also going to help with things like injury prevention, because, I mean, first of all, by wearing different shoes, you are going to be landing in very nuanced, slightly different movement patterns, which is going to give certain muscles, joints, the way you move, a little break and help you recover and reduce the risk of injury. Another thing it's going to do, it is going to help you improve your performance. Having the right shoe for an easy run, for example, is going to help with softening the blow of hitting the ground each time, and then having something that is going to be relevant to doing speed work is going to help you to get faster, to achieve higher paces than you might have done with something that's not quite designed for all-out speed. Let's talk about it in more detail, and I'm actually just going to show you my own shoe rotation, which is pretty big, but I'm going to show you the sorts of shoes I use, why I use them, and yeah, give you some ideas perhaps. All right, so first up, let's talk about road shoes. For my road shoes, we'll start off with easy runs. For my easy runs, for the most part, I love the Nike Pegasus. I particularly fell in love with the Nike Pegasus 38. I think they are now on iteration 42 or 43. They have stood the test of time with many runners across the globe. That's why they're on the 43rd iteration of them. I particularly like them because they are cushy, great for easy miles. I don't particularly think they're great for any kind of speed work, so they really are designed for those daily training miles, and they are solid. They are really solid. I mean, these are getting a little bit worse for wear, this particular pair, but I have actually 5 pairs of these. This particular pair is getting a little bit worse for wear, but it's probably done well over 1,000 miles, I would say. Everything from easy long runs right down to just recovery runs. Really solid shoe. Another shoe I will use for easy runs is the Asics Nova Blast. I think this was iteration 4. Yeah, really good, comfortable shoe. Really soft, spongy. FF Blast Plus, I think, is the foam in this one. Yeah, great shoe just to get those easy long miles in. In fact, I actually quite enjoy using these for long runs. Again, this pair of shoes is getting a little bit worse for wear. I've just pulled I thought that was a stone, a piece of glass out of the foam. Another great shoe, just quite high stack, quite cushioned. Yeah, not brilliant for speed work. I mean, I have used these for kind of some steadier mid-range running, but really for me, these are just great for easy runs. Final one for easy runs that I've been using much more recently is the Adidas Adizero Evo SL. For me, these are potentially changing the shoe game, because shoes have gotten so expensive since the Vaporfly came out, in 2019, I think it was. The price of shoes has gone wild. You know, we've gone from a basic pair of shoes being 40, 50 pounds, 60, 70 dollars to just your basic ones being like 100 or so. And then anything with the more advanced foams and carbon plates, you know, you're talking $300, $400, $500. In fact, the Evo ones, the Evo Pro ones from Adidas, are those £450, $600 or whatever it converts to, and you can only wear them for one marathon, which is insane. These have come out recently, and they are only 100, I say only, still a lot, but they're only 130, 140 pounds, $150, $160. Again, don't take my conversions correctly, but I have fallen in love with these, and a lot of people I speak to have fallen in love with these because they are so versatile. I use them for everything. Easy runs, long runs, tempo stuff. In fact, I did some 400-meter repeats yesterday, very hard 400-meter repeats, and I wore them there and they were great there. So yeah, just really versatile shoe. It is almost a super shoe without the carbon plate, and they're just really really comfortable, really soft, nice toe box area. Huge fan of them, to the point where you can see just there, I've actually bought a second pair ready to go when these start to look a little bit dead. But yeah, I mean, I reckon I've done 300 miles in these, and they are great. They still look like they're ready to go. Yeah, fantastic shoe. That's pretty much my easy shoe rotation. Okay, so moving on to things like speed workouts, road, hill reps, that kind of stuff. At the risk of looking like a bit of a Adidas fanboy, I have been using the Boston 12s recently. I find them quite stiff, so definitely not for easy running. I wouldn't race in them either, personally. That's a personal choice. I do know plenty of people that do race in the Boston 12s. They are a good shoe. They do have the carbon energy rods, or maybe nylon actually. I think they're nylon energy rods in them, so they're definitely not for easy running. I bought them with the idea that they were going to be my long run marathon pace training shoe, because I'll come on to the faster shoes in a bit, but I do like them for speed work, so these are another shoe that I will use for speed work. The other thing I'll use for speed work is some of my retired super shoes. So here we go. I've got the again, Adidas fanboy. I've got the Adidas Adizero Pro 3 here. This was an amazing shoe. I didn't actually like it when it first came out, when I first started running in it. Probably still wouldn't want to run a marathon in them, but they were great for half marathons, and now I use them for fast speed work and blasting around park runs, and sort of maybe some marathon paced long runs as well. Yeah, great shoe. And again, I've done loads of miles in these. Couldn't tell you because I don't track them on Strava anymore. I stopped doing that a long time ago, and the reason I stopped doing that is because I'm a firm believer that whole 300 to 500 mile rule is bullshit. It's nonsense. When your shoes are fucked, that's when you change them. Okay, what does fucked mean? Do you feel like they're giving you problems? That's when to change them, not because Strava says, oh, well done, you've done 300 miles in these shoes, now you need to buy new ones. That is a little bit of a waste, so yeah, don't do that. So yeah, for me, hand-me-downs or the trickle-downs of the super shoes that are probably a little bit past their best. I do have some Nike Alpha Flies around as well that are my favourite shoe of all time. They are now only for speed work. Let's get on to racing. So my two favourite pairs of, in fact, three favourite pairs of shoes at the moment. I don't know where the I'm looking around because I've got so many shoes. The reason I got the Bostons was because I didn't want to do too many miles in Adizero Adios Pro 4s. These, I've done a review on these. At the time, I loved them, and I must admit, I've changed my mind a little bit on them. I did the Bath half in them, and then a 20-mile race, and yeah, I went fast. I ran 1:16 for the half, 2:03 for the 20-miler I did, but they actually chewed my feet up a little bit. I got some pretty tasty blisters on my toes, and actually somebody I coach, he suffered really badly with them on the base of his feet. So yeah, I still love them. They are great shoes, but I have decided that these are probably going to be kind of no more than half marathon. So what did I do after saying that they were going to be my marathon shoe? I did try the On Cloudboom Strike. This is a fantastic shoe. I did another 20-mile race in these and ran 2:04, so pretty close, but these are much firmer than these. Than the Adidas. The foam on them is super squishy on the Adidas. On these, it's not so much squishy, but still an absolutely fantastic shoe. You can actually take the very thick inner sole out and you can see the carbon plate just in there. So yeah, I do enjoy this shoe, but I just decided again, it wasn't quite for me. I got a little bit of soreness on my toes on the outside edge there. I don't have them here. I think they're at home, maybe in the boot of my car, but I ended up going with the Asics Meta Speed Edge Paris for the London Marathon, and I love them. Wow, what a shoe. It just kind of, for me, they are the perfect balance, I think, of weight, springiness, cushion, and yeah, just really feeling like they are a super shoe, yeah, really designed for that speed. So there you go, that's my road shoe collection. Now on to trail shoes, because trail shoes aren't just trail shoes. Whilst, you know, on the road, you've got easy, speed work, tempo, that kind of stuff, and racing. As far as I'm concerned, there isn't much variation between those three modalities of use. However, on the trails is a little bit different. Okay, trail shoes. So trail shoes are obviously different to road shoes in that they are, yes, they're for off-road, but within off-road, you don't just have, personally, I think you do have the categories of, you know, easy, longer, Ultra. There are shoes that are faster, designed for faster running, and then you've got some of the super shoes are just starting to come into the trail world. It's only really, in my opinion, that is the Adidas Agrovich Speed Ultra. There are other carbon plated shoes, but I don't think they've quite nailed the whole super shoe phenomenon in off-road yet. It is really only the Adidas that has done that. You could argue that the new North Face shoe that's come out now, the Vective Pro, I think it is, Vective Pro 4, is up there. But yeah, for me, you know, unless anybody disagrees with that, let me know in the comments. For me, it is only really Adidas, but I'll come on to that in a moment. The biggest nuance with trail shoes is the lugs is going to be a big part. And when we say lugs, that is these little knobbly bits on the bottom, you know, because you could say, well, yeah, I got a pair of trail shoes, but if that trail shoe is, you know, is designed for more dry conditions, like a really popular one, I've got a pair here, is the Speed Goat, Hoka Speed Goat, probably one of the biggest selling trail shoes of all time. Great shoe, fantastic, but would I want to wear a pair of these in wet, muddy conditions? Hell no, absolutely not. They just have no grip. But in rocky, dry conditions or wet, rocky conditions with the Vibram soles, you're going to get loads of grip. You know, these are much more of a runnable shoe is what I would class these as. So anyway, this is how I use these particular shoes. So Speed Goats, these are actually a wide fit because I always find Hoka to be very narrow. I like these really just for easy training miles, nothing more than that. Long runs that don't have any particular pace focus, you know, they're just easy long miles on the trails. Really like them for that. That is about the only thing I would use them for, not for racing, not even for ultras either. I just don't find them to be, personally, and I know a lot of people do ultras in Speed Goats and get on fine with them, but for me personally, they just don't cut it. So yeah, lots of good easy miles in the Hoka Speed Goats. Moving on to Nike. Now Nike have finally started working with Vibram, and I'll come on to a pair in a moment, but I really used to enjoy the Nike Wild Horse. The only thing was they are just a little bit crap on the grip, so they used to slip around a lot. You know, if it's been raining, you felt like they were going to slip from underneath you. But again, really easy, dry training miles. Great shoe, really great shoe. Cheap too. I think they were maybe 50 quid from an outlet. So yeah, pretty good. Another shoe that for me fits into the easy miles category. I actually did do an ultra in these, and they were a bit of a surprise find. These are the New Balance Hero V8 perhaps. Vibram sole. The reason I really like Vibram soles is they are sticky. Like the wetter they get, the more grip they get on rock. So these are great for, and I actually did a mountain ultra in these. There was a bit where I did slip actually, but that was a muddy bit, a very short muddy bit. But otherwise, these are a really good shoe, surprisingly good shoe. But I probably wouldn't do another ultra in them, and there was a reason for that. I mean, I've kind of fallen in love with one of these pairs of shoes, which I'll come on to in a moment. But yeah, easy miles. Again, you know, the lugs on these are just not very deep. So, you know, I think they're a 4mm lug, so you're just not going to get much grip in muddy conditions. There are other shoes that I've got here, but I don't really wear them much. I got these Ultras, this pair of Lone Peaks I bought, and I did do some running in them, but ultimately I just found that I didn't like Ultra. Yeah, I just didn't like them, particularly these. The heels slip badly for me on, these are the Ultra Mont Blanc, so I don't really run in them at all, if I'm honest. And if I was going to run in them, I would probably personally only do maybe up to 6 miles, 10k in them, and that would be it. And so yeah, really short runs. And having said that, I do have a friend who swears by them and has done UTMB, Lakeland 100, you know, some huge ultras in them, but for me, no. The Lone Peaks, I just really didn't like at all. However, they're great walking shoes. I slipped them on, and in fact, I've walked in them so much that the lugs are starting to disappear on the bottom. This is a pair of Adidas Agrovich. I can't remember what they're called now, but I bought these after wearing the Tom Evans version. Loved those, they were great shoes. And then I bought these for a mountain ultra, and I made the mistake of not wearing them enough during training, and 10 miles into a 100k, so a 62-mile race, 10 miles, what's that, 16k, I actually started getting really bad arch pain on both feet to the point where I had to DNF. I couldn't carry on. It was agony. As soon as I took the shoes off, my feet were fine. So it was, yeah, a bit of a bad shoe choice, but that was early on in my ultra career. Okay, so all of those shoes, actually, sorry, I do wear these, but just for short, easy miles. That's it now. That's what they've been relegated to. I've also always been a fan of the Innovate G270s. I will talk about these in a moment. I did do an ultra in the Innovate X Talon Ultra. The reason I really love these ones is because that ultra that I did, I actually won it, was quite muddy, coastal path, pretty difficult sections. The grip on them was absolutely fantastic. They were not great to run fast, but the grip was great, and they're very flexible as well, which made for good footing. But my feet were hurting quite a bit at the end of the 50k, so I probably wouldn't do anything more in that personally. But where I do now use these shoes is I do use them in quite muddy runs because they just have great grip. They do have really good grip. The lugs are 8mm, so they're twice as long as things like the Hoka Speed Goats. You just get a lot more purchase on slippery, hilly, muddy ground. Now, if you want real grip, oh wow, these are old. In fact, this is the second, yeah, that's pair 2. I write the numbers down. I actually had another pair, which I did wear a lot. This is the Innovate Mudclaw 275, and I mean, this is basically a tin of Ronseal. It does exactly what it says on the tin. They are for mud. I wouldn't do any more than 20 miles in them. I have done up to 20 miles and yeah, feet started to ache. They are really narrow, but they are designed to be that way so that you don't slip around in them in bad conditions. But oh my God, those lugs are aggressive. You don't go anywhere in muddy conditions. So things like if you're doing a tough mudder, for example, or like a really muddy race. In fact, I know somebody who did a 24-hour race in a pair of these, but it was slop. Like the ground was just, it was soup. But he actually won the race, and yeah, loved those shoes. And yeah, great shoe if you want to do, you know, short-ish mileage. Again, this is a classic example of why trail shoes are very different to road shoes in that, you know, a lot of it is about the lugs, you know, how and the way the shoe is designed to deal with different terrain conditions. You know, a pair of road shoes, you can run in all weathers, whereas with trail shoes, the trail that you ran on today, in a month's time, after a month's worth of rain, could be totally different. You could end up using this shoe in a month's time, whereas, you know, today you were using this shoe. But this shoe in a month's time in all that mud would be useless, totally useless. You'd be skating everywhere, and that's the big difference with trail shoes. Moving on, I touched on the Innovate G270. Both of these are the Innovate G270. I used to really like these, but I now find them just a little bit too flat. However, what I did do, my good mate at the Key Cobbler, Chris, he took the soles off and replaced them with Vibram. This particular one is called the Vibram Peak District, designed for very muddy conditions, and these are amazing because actually original soles on them have very shallow lugs and yeah, just no purchase. So these, I've worn these for a couple of muddy short races, just off-road shorter races, and these are great. Did a similar thing with these, a slightly aggressive one on here, but I haven't worn these much actually, if I'm totally honest. But Chris at the Key Cobbler, yeah, I used to wear these shoes a lot. They'd worn down quite a bit, and I decided to try him out. I actually have 2 boxes of shoes that I'm going to be sending to him soon to put some new Vibram soles on. Yeah, check him out. He's on Instagram, the Key Cobbler, based in the Lake District, and he's yeah, doing amazing things for prolonging the life of shoes, particularly for, well, mostly for trail runners. So let's talk about racing. I mean, I really like the Nike Ultrafly, great shoe, but I did find that anything kind of 25 miles and over did start to hurt my feet quite a bit. These are carbon plated. I think, pretty sure they're carbon plated. This is where Nike and Vibram finally got together. So super grippy on wet rock, wet stones, and then fantastic on runnable terrain. But for me personally, I just found the soles of my feet just started to really hurt, really ache. So yeah, these have been kind of, again, just relegated a little bit to long runs up to about 20 miles, particularly if I want to practice a little bit of race pace, because they are designed for racing, and it even says on the side, Nike Trail Racing. But yeah, really good shoe. And I know a lot of people that get on with them really, really well. You do feel like you want to run on the trails fast in them. So if you are doing that kind of race pace type stuff, great. They are really great. But my absolute ultimate shoe of choice for the trails is the Adidas Tex. No, I don't have 2 right shoes. I actually have 2 pairs. In fact, I've got 3 pairs because I've got the blue pair as well. I really love these. First time I raced in them was Lakeland 50. They are definitely designed to go fast. So if fast running is your thing, I mean, I wouldn't want to wear them in muddy terrain, but for mountainous, rocky or runnable trail, drier trails, or wet where it's not muddy, what a shoe. I wore them during CCC and yeah, I love them. So I love them so much that actually I bought a second pair, and then I was at the running show and I saw them in blue, which matches my maximum mileage colours. I bought those as well, and yeah, I absolutely love them. Not for everybody though. I mean, for the most part, everybody I have recommended them to has loved them. There was somebody who called them Satan's clogs, which, you know, just comes down to you need to try shoes on and don't take everybody's recommendations because they are not always going to work for you. So there you go, folks. That is my shoe rotation and the reasons why I have a shoe rotation. But other than that, I swear having a shoe rotation actually prolongs the life of them. I mean, some of these shoes, I've had them 5 years. I've had those 5 years. I mean, I haven't run in those ones much, but those I reckon I've had the best part of 4 years. And they've got loads and loads of life left in them because I'm not running in the same pair all of the time. And touch wood, it's not the only reason at all. I do my strength work, I manage my training load, I do my mobility, but I do think that because I'm not running in the same pair of shoes all the time, I probably don't pick up as many niggles, particularly things like plantar fasciitis. So there you go, folks. I hope that was helpful. Go and get yourself some more shoes. See you in the next video.